ward just to scout out the lane matchup. And that's actually something we didn't touch on just yet, Tom, is that StickyRice, not MeyeA, is playing as the support for CompLexity, so they do have that sub effect in effect tonight.
Yeah, and as you can tell, StickyRice, it's not an MeyeA smurf or anything, because MeyeA goes extremely defensive runes and masteries on a support setup, whereas there's actually a... Well, there's the 60-second ward right here, the Explorer ward that have been picked up for StickyRice, as well as the Total Biscuit of Rejuvenation. Just something that MeyeA most of the time forgoes on some of his support matchups here. So it's going to be a little bit of a different playstyle for Chuuper in that bottom lane, but they got to be careful. There's no ward for them here.
There we go. No, apologies for that. I was somewhat disconnected for a brief moment, but you know what? I'm back, and I caught a nice cheese there from... I don't want to call it cheese, because that makes it sound like it didn't take a lot of skill and planning to make that happen, but blowing 2 flashes for CompLexity very, very early on. Just absolutely incredible play. Now, Chuuper and StickyRice definitely have targets on their back as you're looking for the first cycle of ganks from ggLAMBO.
All right, well, we'll just say that that surprise left you speechless. It just completely took your voice away from that one. But LAMBO winds up stealing away the red buff. At the same time, though, he took a lot of damage from that, but he saved his smite in doing so, so he will be able to secure his own blue buff. So they're going to wind up trading red buffs in the jungle side of things, but they even out pretty much it's still 2 buffs apiece. And what has that actually done in the grand scheme of things? Well, it's kind of the CompLexity. They forced them back from the side, the dual lane back from the side of ggLA. I keep wanting to say infinite odds. This is going to be really hard, but they've hit an early level 2. And with the Tristana with explosive shot, that means she's going to be able to shove the wave that much quicker. So now Vayne and Lulu are going to be held back against their turret, and with that early ward coverage in the enemy side or in their own side of the jungle, they're going to be able to telegraph any gaze coming out from ggLAMBO.
Down to below half health, only at 200 hit points. Took a lot of harassment, mostly off of Bunny FuFuu. Now, one more auto attack. It's going to be the barrier forced out mid-flight. StickyRice going to take a lot of damage off of this. Does he have fear up? No, down for 10 seconds. The damage continuing to come out there. Otter can't dive. Did use barrier already. And Chuuper makes it out alive with 60 HP. Just a little bit over-aggressive there. Gank coming top lane. ggLAMBO has no more health potions in his inventory, so if he wants to go up behind MegaZero, might be in a little bit of danger. Mega's 1v2s are more like 1v1s or 1-4-0s, as he's now going to get beset from all sides. Now ggLAMBO, there's the slice, the dice, the red buff's on. Is there going to be enough movement speed? The ghost is down from MeyeA. Mega makes it back to the turret in time.
All right, so MegaZero gets out alive in that one, and Chuuper maybe just a little bit over-aggressive in the bottom lane. Now, when you have explosive shot and you have the passive on somebody, it's going to wind up aggroing turret. And actually, ggLAMBO, he's caught shopping.
There's going to be NinJaken who goes down. First blood. The combo is way too good as ggLAMBO bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Twin bite twice as much and a little bit too much there for ggLAMBO. Is going to have to find himself another gig after that one.
ggLAMBO, he tried to flash away from that as well, but NinJaken just moved forward and kept perfect positioning for that fear tether to go off, and now you'll see the expertise of a Nocturne main right here in this dive.
Flashing out, and the Ignite going down there. MegaZero takes a turret shot, and it's the Duskbringer at a long range from NinJaken. 2 kills for CompLexity, making something out of nothing, and now the top lane, if it wasn't in MegaZero's favor before, 2 more kills for CompLexity are definitely going to put it there.
Well, they put 2 kills on their jungler as well, so NinJaken, not only does he have a refresh double buff from ggLAMBO, but now he has 2 kills and the potential to build a little bit more into a carry Nocturne. His core item's probably still going to be that Spirit Stone, the Ancient Golem, but from seeing him stream and seeing what he does with Nocturne, if he gets an early advantage, he will build towards something like a Ravenous Hydra or a Trinity Force. He's not afraid to go for those items and put the team on his back. That's one of the things that makes him such a powerful threat on Nocturne. He can be a tank and an initiator for the team, but he can also build towards that damage and utilize it quite effectively. So now that you got 2 kills on him, he's going to be a very scary force on this game. And ggLAMBO, Shyvana, we talked about ggLA. Early game is where they need to excel. It's not worked out for them yet.
Keep in mind, NinJaken, one of the big contributions to the League of Legends scene to the meta was going for a Randuin's Ravenous Hydra build. So he does have a longsword in his inventory. Could build that into the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, but probably won't see that just yet coming. Bottom lane has Paranoia. Could look to come in off of an engage by Chuuper and StickyRice. They clear out the wards in the bottom rushes, but looks like NinJaken will just back off the double golems for now. Doesn't quite want to dive turret with all those offensive items in his inventory.
Alright, and so, well, IKNAU is just going to wind up, actually does wind up baiting out at one tower shot there for MegaZero. He's in a rough spot right now. MegaZero has the farm advantages by a long shot. He has experience advantages by at least half a level, if not a little bit more, on that Nasus. And there's just so much powerful potential with a snowball top lane Nasus, snowball top lane Renekton, especially against a slow to ramp up Nasus, that's going to be a very detrimental lane for ggLA. It's going to be pretty much a hemorrhaging lane for them as well. We see probably getting a little bit of a disconnect and a reconnect, but there's a pause. I knew there's a pause going to be coming, so I'm going to wait out for that one, but the snowball effect of Renekton is going to start coming into this one. He has a lot of damage on him right now, and IKNAU just doesn't have the siphoning strike stacks to try to counteract against it. So you can see already the toll that MegaZero's Renekton is taking on this top lane from ggLA. Now compare that with the fact that you have a level 6 NinJaken before LAMBO has even crested the level 6 mark. NinJaken can gank mid lane, he can gank bottom lane, and leave top lane to be all by itself. The pressure on the map is going to be everywhere else against ggLA, and it's going to be up to them to try to survive it. But with a scaling 80 carry like Vayne and no ultimate yet for Lulu, it's going to be a very hard thing to stop a diving Nocturne in that situation.
I was actually thinking about whether or not this game goes late enough for Nasus and Vayne to start getting into their hyper carry potential, but then you look over at CompLexity and you realize that while Nasus and Vayne have some pretty strong scaling, they're going up against Nidalee and Tristana, and I don't think any team wants to go up against that. Spears just deal a million damage, chunk things out incredibly easily, and nobody wants to go up against late game Tristana, one of the highest damage late game carries there is right now. So I gotta say, it's looking good for both teams when it comes to the late game, but there's 3 late game threats when you add in Bobqin to that for, I almost said Infinite Odds again, but for Gold Gaming Los Angeles. But for CompLexity, they just have so much like strong individual champion choices that I feel like the late game may not really be coming down, and especially with a 2-0 advantage on a NinJaken's Nocturne, a champion that he is just incredibly renowned for. We're back into the game. We'll see what CompLexity can make happen off the back of that.
Well, ggLA hasn't taken their early game advantages. Nidalee, despite the disconnect coming up from Prolly, actually has a level advantage over Gragas. And now with that blue buff, she can shove a wave, and that bottom lane could be ganked by not only the jungler, but also a very mobile and roaming Nidalee choice. So you have to be very careful about that one. And if you get Tristana over her hump of her kind of slow mid-game point, where even Vayne is still going to be ramping up a little bit, it's like you said, it's going to be extremely detrimental to ggLA.
Probably actually just in a lot of their jump. Bottom lane, Chuuper jumping into Bunny FuFuu. Heal comes out from StickyRice. There's the fear as well. I think that jump probably should have gone the other direction. Now a crow bounces on to Bunny FuFuu. StickyRice grabs a kill. So in the end, it's a 1-for-1. But Chuuper going down will leave Otter in lane to farm. And now it's actually Shyvana coming in from behind. Can he find the kill on the StickyRice? Gonna be able to take up the turret for a couple more shots, and it's Otter to at least help DJ LAMBO find himself the kill down there in that bottom lane. Great positioning there. DJ LAMBO, I didn't even see him coming around there. He's too focused on the 2v2. Wound up getting there in the right place at the right times. Now gonna find in onto Prolly. Red buff's down there, but not wanting to go up against Prolly right now. It's gonna back on off. Spear to come out from Prolly if he wants to try for that tri-brush. He's not gonna go for that. Oh my goodness, there's so many low health champion choices. NinJaken going around the wall. The leap over. DJ LAMBO stayed just a little bit too long immediately. The Dragon is sent over the wall through the turret. Spear to come out as well. There's the dive, but it's just not necessary. It's Prolly throws down the javelin toss to pick up a kill for CompLexity.
And this is a roaming Prolly who actually didn't get a chance to get that blue buff. NinJaken is the one who wound up taking that one, and they're just going to rotate towards this dragon. They now have 3 of the 4 potential buffs on the map, and that blue buff is still available on the side of ggLA. Wouldn't be surprised to see CompLexity just kind of squeeze this one out. And now NinJaken, Prolly, they're making moves on the map, and they're making them towards that bottom lane where Chuuper, well, he's already kind of made two very interesting decisions on his jumps in this game so far, but because of how far ahead the jungler got and how the Complexity's been able to use that advantage, it's kind of made up for the fact that Chuuper hasn't necessarily been as dominant in the early game as we wanted him to be.
Now, Paranoia is down for a minute and a half, so at least that threat is off of the map for ggLA. And a couple of other things that I kind of want to point out. While Gragas isn't roaming as much as Probably is, and Probably is definitely making the best of that, he has stat in lane and is going to be coming back from an early CS deficit, so at least he'll have that there. Slow down on StickyRice in the bottom lane. Final hour from Otter. Could get knocked back here, but Chuuper is this cute little bunny there at the bottom. The ult in from StickyRice. Probably trying to ult away there, actually. But Buddy FuFuu just relentless. Flash in. Otter attacking a minion. Gets the condemn into the wall. Can't Buddy FuFuu find the kill? Finds one, but now Chuuper will jump in onto Buddy FuFuu. Is going to speed himself away and make it back to the turret alive. Should be able to get out of there safely. And this time, it's a 1-for-1 in the other direction, whereas last time Chuuper died and StickyRice stayed alive. It's the other way there for the bottom lane. Working out a little bit better for Complexity this time.
And StickyRice may have ulted back in, and it created this kind of null void where Otter didn't want to get too close, but he was still wanting to give chase. As soon as the ultimate went down, the Crowstorm was gone. We saw Otter flash forward, and he flashed directly into a fear. I don't know if that was just calculated by StickyRice, but that fear was extremely well played, and it gave his AD carry a kill that he needs to get in that lane.
So for right now, I kind of want to take a focus off of that bottom lane as the turret does fall in favor of Complexity, second turret in the game. We got to take a look up at top lane. MegaZero, he has been up and down this lane. And actually now going to throw out a Dominus on Nasus into some Dogon crocodile action. It does look like MegaZero had the potential to come out with a win. Didn't want to get stuck under the turret in a wither, and so will back on off. But where now Spear lands onto bobqin. And I want you guys to listen, because every single time a Spear does land, you'll be able to hear that ping telling you that bobqin probably needs a little bit more magic resistance coming his way. Does not have that Athene's Unholy Grail, but there's actually going to be a Paranoia deep underneath that turret. Flash it in, counter flash, tried to predict the explosive cast, but great positioning on that ultimate for bobqin, keeps himself alive.
Yeah, bobqin, he waited to use the explosive cask until the spell shield was down. You know that you're going to have the instant reaction to that, but bobqin waits for it, and he's able to disengage from that situation. He's very low on HP, his ultimate's down, but he's able to defend this tower.
Oh, but now bottom lane, Otter trying to get the condemn. Chuuper hits the wall, but doesn't get stunned out there. Otter trying to dodge out there, finds himself in the bushes. Probably should have kept running, but does wind up going down there as Chuuper takes him out in the 1v1.
Critical strike proc there from Chuuper as well, and this is why you have Tristana go for that very fast static Shiv build. It gives her a little bit of extra damage and a bit more critical strike chance to synergize with her rapid fire, so that you get through that mid-game stage of Tristana a little bit more effectively. The burst of magic damage is something that a bottom lane AD carry is not necessarily going to be factoring into a 1v1 duel like that, so even though Vayne has duel potential, we saw Tristana take the fight.
Probably actually jumps straight into DJ LAMBO. There's going to be the fear from StickyRice to try to keep him safe for now, and very, very quick to move through that brush thanks to the Prowl passive, which, contrary to popular opinion, does actually make you faster when you walk through grass. So a spear to come out won't find Bunny FuFuu. Man, my heart when Probably throws out these spears, can't take it anymore, having landed so many of them in the mid lane barrel to come out as well. But now the duo lane rotating mid for Complexity looks to take down their third and last outer turret of the game uncontested.
Well, they don't have a Caitlyn pickup this time around, so it's not going to be their rotation to get every single outer tower with Chuuper as the AD carry. It's going to be their solo lanes in rotation to the last mid one here.
MegaZero in a 2v1 in the top lane. Double ults there from DJ LAMBO, and IKNU has to force the flash over the wall. He just failed the dice there, and bobqin just perfectly positioned. Turns out it takes 3 champions to kill MegaZero, so we finally have an answer.
Well, while MegaZero's forced 3 away into the top lane, that just lets Complexity go and take that last outer tower. So raid boss MegaZero goes down, but he had no kills on him. They went to NinJaken in the beginning of the game. So yeah, they get MegaZero down, but they might lose the second tower.
There's gonna be a Crowstorm on Buddy FuFuu. One more kill, one more crit, and it's a snipe from Probly. Oh my goodness, the Spear's just continuing to land 2 kills for Probly there. NinJaken and Chuuper in the same department, as now Complexity will pick up a second turret in the mid lane, unless DJ LAMBO and bobqin want to try to force them away.
Well, bobqin's ultimate is only halfway cooled down, so it looks like a staunch defense of this tower is not going to wind up happening. DJ LAMBO pops the burnout, but there's nothing that ggLA can do to defend against this onslaught. Chuuper hasn't hit the double-digit levels yet, so he's still able to be engaged on, but you can't really engage through the poke that they have. One of the things that people don't remember about Nocturne is that Dustbringer deals a lot of damage, so throwing that out with some poke with a Nidalee spear, not only that, but throwing the Dustbringer and seeing where the path is going is kind of giving a little bit of like X marks the spot for where these Probably spears should be going. So Nidalee having no problems picking up kills off of these.
And probably just starting that snowball rolling. You actually notice he's gone for the double mana regen build, which I don't actually see all that often just because it's kind of redundant. You get a ton of mana regen from Athene's, but he's also built up the tier of the goddess. And the reason you go this, it makes your early game a little bit weaker, which you couldn't really tell from looking at Probably, but it gives you so much more late game as the ability power boost that you get from a Seraph's Embrace is just absolutely incredible when you stack up a death cap on top of it.
Yeah, and so when he gets into that later game spike, like we said, that CompLexity has their own late game scaling, and ggLA hasn't been able to contest them in the beginning stage of this game. So even with that Vayne and the Nasus pickup, I mean, they haven't been able to get the safest amount of farm. Nasus is very far behind CS against Renekton, and he can't do anything 1v1 against MegaZero. We saw what happened last time. It took 3 people to deal with him. Even just the threat of MegaZero being elsewhere on the map makes ggLA back away from that, and it's letting CompLexity now convert that aggression into objectives. They've got 4 towers compared to 1, and that's their second dragon of the game.
Slice coming in there from MegaZero, starting to get there onto iKennyU. They're going to throw down the Spirit Fire. MegaZero walks out of the armor reduction circle, but it's going to be Paranoia from Nocturne coming in onto iKennyU. Mega actually losing out that trade. Can NinJaken finish off the kill? So much sustain from the Soul Eater passive. iKennyU stays alive, and DJ LAMBO actually could come in and close this out. We'll turn on the burnout flashes in there. Doesn't get the red buff slow, and it's a double kill for DJ LAMBO. Drops the base and 2 members from CompLexity.
Well, maybe Nasus can kind of hold his own in this situation. Ninja Tabby, Glacial Shroud, and a Warden's Mail is a lot of armor, and while MegaZero did wind up going for some damage with that Ravenous Hydra, there's no penetration. Same exact time, Nocturne, very tanky, is going to be building towards a potential Trinity Force with that Phage in his inventory, but there's no penetration built right now. So when this Fury of the Sands was popped, iKennyU was deceptively tanky and really hard to take down in that kind of situation, and I think we've kind of counted out that.
Yeah, almost 200 armor stacked up there against a team that does almost all physical damage, or at least when you talk about NinJaken and MegaZero. And that's going to be a turret as well, so DJ LAMBO 2 kills, a turret, and a huge boost in gold there for ggLA. But keep in mind, middle lane, NinJaken trying to get on to bobqin, does get the fear off. There is Chuuper from behind to stab him in the back. Gives NinJaken the kill though, so no KS just yet. Probably very low on hit points, but does have some healing to come out from Primal Surge, looking for positioning for another spear as CompLexity pushing up mid.
Well, bobqin had the right idea. Nidalee's really good at poking, but she's not that great when you build her AP at kind of straight up dueling. So Gragas being able to burst her down very effectively, but when her team shows up, Nidalee's really good at team fighting.
Alright, well there comes out a spear, hits Otter before the fights even start. There's a huge Doge there in chasing off NinJaken. Very, very big. StickyRice now down very low. Gets a heal there from Probably across the wall, but it's just not enough. Look at this tanky double tank lineup from Infinite, or not Infinite Odds, ggLA, but does not last long enough to Chuuper's damage. Spear to come out will not find DJ LAMBO very fast in that burnout. Will try to make his way away from this one. Doesn't really have a whole lot of options here. It's a little bit of smite there to turn himself back around. Could try for a re-engage onto one, but probably not both there. Probably jumping in there, finds a little bit of damage, trying to turn it back around. DJ LAMBO cannot find the kill. Chuuper gets the shutdown and goes 3-1-4.
Well, more importantly, the tank line for ggLA is working out so well against, like you said, Rafa, this very heavy AD composition coming out from the side of CompLexity. But MegaZero kind of was in that fight at the beginning and then just decided he wasn't going to be around for very much longer. So they chased the tanks go in after the squishies, but the squishies from the side of ggLA really can't follow after them because there's still a lot of damage on targets like Chuuper and on players like Probably from this complexity lineup, and with enough wear and tear they are able to take down these tanks. And as we said, both these characters going to be getting stronger as they get into the later stages of the game. Giving a shutdown and an additional kill onto Chuuper's Tristana, who did go for that static Shiv rush, is getting him through that hump so effectively right now. He's gotten 2 pieces for an Infinity Edge already. If he winds up getting that item relatively soon, like within the next minute or two, there's going to be a huge powerful Tristana on the map, where Otter, he's just finished his Blade of the Rune King, has a Zeal in his inventory, but isn't at that same power level just yet.
iKenny hasn't even hit 200 stacks just yet on Siphoning Strike, and while it may seem even to go, 200 stacks in 20 minutes, you're actually supposed to be almost doubled by then. So I don't know about that, but Kenny is gonna be a little bit far behind, so will not be a big Nasus in there as far as damage, but still, like we've seen, has been able to get in there with a lot of tanky stats. Frozen Heart now completed, looking for, looks like a Sheen to come out next with that Sapphire Crystal, but with almost 200 armor, it's going to be really rough for at least MegaZero to take down.
Yeah, and that itemization coming out from iKenny's Nasus is going to be very, very crucial to when ggLA groups up for team fights. We saw with the Frozen Heart in his inventory, it worked out great when they were grouped up for a team fight, but as they kind of spread off and dove into the back lines, it became less and less effective as LAMBO kind of went one way and iKenny went the other, and they were able to kind of pick them apart that way for complexity.
Oh, iKenny does get the Wither down on a MegaZero. He's going to try to get a little bit of health back. Can Kenny turn this around? I don't actually think so. There's a little bit of lifesteal from Mega there as well, so it's going to be a little bit of an overextension, and Fury of the Sands down there for Kenny, and now it's going to be Probably coming up there, looking for some spears to come out. Hits one. Kenny takes a quarter of his health there. Probably going to continue to chase it on there. Doesn't get the second spear to land. So complexity, I'm not exactly sure what they're doing. They're putting some pressure mid, looking to push top lane back as well. ggLAMBO and Kenny will head back to base as the duo lane for ggLA rotate towards the mid red buff respawn. I'm not sure exactly when that's coming up, but at the same time, looks like a team fight could be brewing here in the mid lane.
Complexity is getting the lanes pushing against ggLA's side of the map. They have the Dragon Timer. They know it's going to be up in about 15 seconds. With an Oracle's Elixir on StickyRice, they're clearing out wards, and they're making sure that ggLA is going to stay on their side of the map. Mid lane was pushing towards ggLA, and they got that top lane pushing towards them. The only one that's going to be moving towards Complexity is the bottom side of the map. And if they have vision control of the enemy jungle, they'll be able to scout out where ggLA is going to be if they want to try to contest that dragon. And to get a pick in the process, it's a very good thing for Complexity, but it looks like ggLA, they've kind of realized that, hey, if they're shoving out the other places of the map, something might be coming up soon. We know that our blue buff was taken away, or taken, and we know when the dragon's going to be because we cleared the vision out from the area before, so we have to come down here and contest it. And with Nasus teleport still available, it looks like they're going to be primed and ready for it.
A spear on a bunny FuFuu takes him down way below half, and now it's Complexity on to the dragon. MegaZero and Probably coming around. Another spear yet to land. That one time it's on Otter, who's down below half health. There's an explosive cask there, Tom. I'm not really sure why the cast exploded, but Gragas threw it out there, and now it's going to be forced to back away. Not a lot there. Paranoia looking to go down. We'll find onto bobqin. That's a little bit of a confusing target to go on just because he's so mobile to disengage. Now NinJaken ushered back away. A little bit of over-aggression there by NinJaken, but nothing lost off of that. And a dragon gain puts the gold lead up to almost 9,000 for Complexity.
Yeah, and with this huge gold advantage for Complexity, I mean, ggLA are going to be very hard-pressed for this. Their tanks are doing as much as they can, but the damage just isn't there for them yet. bobqin has an Athene's Unholy Grail. It's great for a Gragas when you're just coming out of the lane phase, but when you're stuck defending against your inhibitor tower, there's no damage right there. One item complete on Vayne being Blade of the Rune King is not enough to deal the damage that she needs to in this composition. And with people being able to dive down on her, she's not going to be able to survive. She might be able to kite, but she's not going to deal damage to them.
The giant growth on ggLAMBO gets a two-man knockup as he engages, and it's actually Otter from behind. Fear will not land, and it's going to be StickyRice coming in, going out. Will Otter be able to chase? Doesn't want to overextend, because if you look at top lane, while all this action is going down mid, it's actually going to be the turn back and on to Otter. Another explosive cast to come out, but this time bobqin may not be able to escape, forced to flash away from the Fear on NinJaken, and MegaZero stays alive. The kills continuing to come in from Complexity, and now it's Probably, oh my god, Probably, please. probably Zunbei, please stop. Lands a spear there onto Bunny FuFuu, takes him down, and now it's CompLexity looking to take down the first base turret of the game.
And oh man, CompLexity, they're doing a little bit of opposite of what I thought they were going to be doing. Renekton's not split pushing with a Ravenous Hydra. He's grouped up and he's being a tank for the team alongside NinJaken's Nocturne. Tristana went off to the side to split push and she used her Buster Shot so that the teleport from Nasus wasn't going to be used in that fight. Teleport's on cooldown, and the Buster Shot's on cooldown as well, so obviously Chuuper stopped him right there, and IKNU chased after him. He has so much armor and so much tankiness. There's no penetration coming out from Chuuper. It was just pure kiting, using rocket jumps to keep himself away from IKNU's massive damage from those siphoning strikes. It worked out so well for Chuuper and CompLexity, while they were able to get the engage away from the side of ggLA. The Fiddlesticks reinitiation was a little bit short, but it played zone defense, so Otter couldn't get close. Shyvana had to try running away, and guess what happens at that point? Probably spears take into effect. CompLexity, over 10,000 gold ahead at this point. They're looking really, really strong in this game.
Otter is in such a rough position because as a Vayne, you want to use that Night Hunter passive to run after people, to chase them down, but it's just a narrow razor's edge at the point where you turn from chasing into running when CompLexity turned right back around on you. That's what happened in that last fight. He was chasing down on them, had a lot of damage to dish out, but only one life to give and wound up turning very dead there very quickly. Now actually zoned out behind the team. StickyRice looking to get off of fear. Explosive cast there as IKNU gets in there. Otter will be knocked away there by the Buster Shot, but Chuuper gets beset by DJ. LAMBO will go down there as the Dog Power coming in from behind. Now StickyRice looks to go down. He will fall. It's 2 for 0 dead now. MegaZero trying to escape, probably still throwing out the spears from behind. Will land one onto DJ. LAMBO tries to find a kill onto the DJ, but it's going to be probably falling down here as 1, 2, 3 dead, 4 down, and a complete rout from the base as Gold Gaming Los Angeles just smash their way through CompLexity.
Now, when you're in a defensive posture, you normally think that you need to fight on towers. You need to be able to turn a team fight against that. But when your two powerful players are your tanks in that composition, you need to get to the very far away, very vulnerable backline of a Tristana and a Nidalee. Sometimes the best idea is to use the backdoor, and that's what we saw in that circumstance. bobqin completely disorients CompLexity with that surprise attack from behind, and we saw the effects of what ggLA can do when they collapse down.
NinJaken's gonna die to Otter. Otter continuing the chase there. Does not want to go underneath turret. There's Chuuper there. Can he chase? No, Otter, please don't die. The turret last auto attack there from Chuuper to take him out. And he will die, but at what cost? The Baron will go over to 4 members of ggLA. So while Otter did go down up a little bit of an overextension, still 4 members with that Baron buff and a lot of much needed gold going over to ggLA.
I haven't really known otters to be all too greedy of animals, but in that circumstance, he just went too far. He winds up going through a tower with CompLexity on the respawn. The death timers you can see on the screen, Rapid. It's not something that was unknown to Otter, and he goes a little bit too far. And yes, they get the Baron, but what are they going to use it for at this point? Their AD carry, who they need to deal damage in these fights, is dead. It doesn't have a Baron buff on them. They aren't able to push out too far on the map right now because it's a 5v4 situation. At least the first minute or so, this Baron buff is going to be used defensively, and CompLexity knows it. And they know that if they keep applying pressure, all that Baron buff is going to be used for is pushing minions out of the base of ggLA.
That's actually the second time this game that Otter is overextended to try to get a kill and gets caught out there, and kind of like a pork farm with too many pigs, just going a little bit too ham. And I think that the thing for Bunny FuFuu and IKNU as sort of the big tools for initiate, Bunny FuFuu with the giant growth, IKNU with the big tanky initiate on DJ LAMBO as well, they have to force these engagements out there because it's really on the front line to force these fights to start, because CompLexity are fine without a fight actually happening because they keep chunking out ggLA with spears, probably just all too content to sit back, continue throwing them out, and keep this siege alive for CompLexity. Now, last time, we saw a massive engage from ggLA that just destroyed CompLexity, but now, CompLexity taking a much more passive stance to this siege. Gonna do this, gonna do it right, very slowly pushing in to ggLA's base.
Well, last time ggLA were elsewhere on the map and CompLexity said, we're just going to wind up winning the game by pushing your Nexus towers. That's when ggLA collapsed and they got the jump on CompLexity and surprised them. They're not going to fall for the same trick twice here, Rapid. They know that they're going to force ggLA into the base. They know where every single member is going to be. The best explosive cast bobqin can get at that point is to try to separate two halves of the side of CompLexity, but in that circumstance, the back lines are going to be the ones being knocked back, and the front line is to be the ones being knocked into the enemy team. Whereas last time, well, when you get a flank on them from behind, you're knocking the targets you want to kill directly into your team to, well, pick apart and decimate. Now the fact that they have a very long-range Tristana, a very long-range Nidalee to poke at them and keep them in their base, ggLA's, they're not going to get that miracle engage. Well, they're not going to get it again, pretty much, because CompLexity's seen it once and it's not going to happen.
MeyeA's almost at that Trinity Force, and that's going to be a huge power spike for the Nasus. And to be honest, he's already been a very large contributor in these team fights, just as either a damage soak and also a lot of damage to come back out there. And with kills starting to stack up onto DJ LAMBO as well as onto Otter, he grabbed another one in that last team fight. He doesn't have that last Whisper, which is going to be a really big item at taking down MegaZero, but he's got true damage, and so to some extent, you don't need armor penetration on Vayne to the same extent that you would on somebody like Tristana. And with the last Whisper, not quite the Holy Trinity, is there's no Phantom Dancer in there. It is a static Shiv instead, but still a ton of damage to come out for Chuuper's Tristana. 5-2 and 4. 5-1 and 2 though for Probably, who does have that Seraph's Embrace completed. No death cap. Opts for a Void Stab to try to chunk through some of the MR you start to see stacked up for ggLA.
And they have a Tristana who can pretty much split push if she wants to, with the fact that she has Explosive Shot and Static Shiv. They have a Renekton who, well, he's Renekton. He split pushes as he pleases. Even Nocturne can wind up split pushing a bit too, coming out from NinJaken. There's just so much lane pressure from CompLexity. Look, the Baron buff is gone on members of the side of ggLA, and where have they gone? Nasus, he stepped as far as in between where his two towers would have been, and all he met was a half HP Nidalee spear for his trouble.
Oh, there's the engaged explosive cast coming out, hitting Chuuper, but knocking him away to safety. Attempted engage there. bobqin takes a spear for his trouble, and another base turret down for CompLexity taken down. There's actually the engage by DJ LAMBO. Starts to get in there, gets speared out. There's Paranoia as well, trying to get the dive into the back line. Otter in the back. The Otter attacks will take down MegaZero if he's allowed to. NinJaken very low, will flash out, stay alive. There's Probably with a kill onto Otter. Bunny, FuFuu, and Kenny forced back to the summoner platform. They will stay alive. The rest of the team will not. The game will end with a 4-0 surrender vote passed as CompLexity crushed the team fight, taking out Gold Gaming Los Angeles.
ggLA had one shot and didn't engage it in that one, and after the explosive cast missed, they tried to salvage it by sending DJ LAMBO in afterwards, but it was all disoriented from their side. He went in, wanted to go back out, taking too much damage. The wild growth goes onto him, so he walks back in and then immediately flashes out. So all of a sudden, everybody else from ggLA moving forward are completely exposed, and we see them fall down like dominoes. The low HP DJ LAMBO dies, bobqin gets sniped out, Otter gets chunked out from a Tristana, as that's the effect of a late game Tristana against a later game Vayne, especially with the fact that Tristana had such itemization and gold advantages over that late game Vayne. You're able to stay safe in the backlines and wail away at your opponent AD carry without suffering too many consequences for your own well-being in that circumstance. Textbook victory here from CompLexity. They didn't let ggLA get the early lead they needed to take advantage of. Despite some tankiness on their side, they didn't let it deter them, and they wound up taking not only an 11,000 gold lead, but the victory in the end.
And that's going to do it for our second game of the night, with CompLexity victorious over ggLA. And to be honest, ggLA